Mocha. I'm Anna Tunambona, and today we will be talking about pesticide residue, something you as a farmer should be familiar with before you decide to use pesticides on your plants. Pesticides help farmers to kill and prevent pests from feeding on their crops. Yet all too often, these chemicals are used before their impacts are fully understood. In this video, we will be looking at the importance of proper handling of pesticides and the need to read and follow instructions on a pesticide label. Different types of agricultural pesticides include herbicides, insecticides, and fungicides. Let's focus on insecticides. The first step is to identify the insect pest. If you cannot identify the pest, there are two ways to get help. 1. Seek assistance from the Ministry of Agriculture. 2. Consult the Pacific Pests and Pathogen app. This is a useful tool to diagnose pests and diseases. Insecticides vary in how they work to control insect pests. One is through contact with a pest and the other is through eating a sprayed plant. An example of a contact insecticide is Sunseas. This kills as soon as they come in contact with pests. Systemic insecticides are applied to the roots or leaves where they are absorbed and transported within the treated plant. Suncloprid is an example of a systemic insecticide. When insect pests feed on the leaves after sprayed, they die. Chemicals should be used according to the manufacturer's instructions. Farm pesticides are available in different forms, the common ones being liquids and powder. Both liquid and powder pesticides are mixed in water and applied using a sprayer. Chemicals are harmful and caution is needed to avoid contact. The recommended protective clothing that a farmer should be wearing when spraying pesticides include glasses, mask, overalls, gloves, gumboots, and hats. Chemical sprayers need to be calibrated regularly so that the correct volume is discharged. Maintain an even and a steady height of the knapsack sprayer nozzle while walking with an even pressure and pace. It is recommended that spraying is done on a fine morning or afternoon. Avoid spraying if it is likely to rain or if it is too windy. Sprayers should be thoroughly cleaned with soap or detergent solution after use to avoid corrosive chemicals from damaging it and permanently contaminating it. At each stage, pump out some of the liquid through the hose and through the nozzles. Dispose of any empty pesticide bottles by burying and keeping them away from little children. Keeping a record of details such as the time of application, how much pesticide was applied, and the name of the chemical used will provide good data that you can refer to before your next spray. This is also a requirement for farms that export their produce. If you eat sprayed and unwashed vegetables and fruits, you are likely to be poisoned. Pesticide residue refers to the pesticides that may remain on food after its application. All residues have a different rate at which they are broken down, so it is important to pay attention to the withholding period on a pesticide label. When a plant is sprayed, it is not just the pest that comes into contact with a sprayed chemical. The pesticide may come into contact with the person that eats the produce, the plant, the soil microbes, the beneficial insects and animals around the plant. When application rates are not followed and proper care is not taken in handling the pesticides, you can harm the soil and the quality of the produce. This can lead to increased insecticide resistance. Excessive use of pesticide over time will kill the soil organisms which plants need for survival. Once a chemical is sprayed, it remains active as poison for a certain amount of time. Once a pesticide has been released, it leaves a residue that can be broken down by exposure to sunlight, water, temperature, or natural processes. The maximum residue limit is the safe amount of chemical present on the plant that when eaten will not be a concern to human health. This can be taken after the withholding period, which states the number of days between the last spray and crop harvest in which the active ingredient is decomposed. While the impacts of misusing pesticides may not be quite visible at first, it is important to remember that the gradual effects can have lifelong consequences on our health. Now that you have a better and we hope a clearer understanding of the use of pesticides, it is your responsibility as a farmer to maintain a healthy and abundant garden by using pesticides responsibly.